Oh my gosh. Steve is actually reviewing a movie that people know about. He actually watches those? Yes, I do. Intro. Take one. What's going on, guys? Steve here, and tonight we're going to be talking about the film Godzilla vs. Kong, directed by Adam Wingard and starring Rebecca Hall, Alexander Skarsgard, Brian Tyree Henry, and many others. In Godzilla vs. Kong, humankind is caught in the middle as Godzilla and Kong do battle with each other, which is brought about by unseen forces. And what these unseen forces are? Well, when you watch the film, you'll find out. Now, I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. I'm somebody who reviews movies on YouTube. I basically am a part of the film criticism world in admittedly an amateur capacity. A lot of my movie reviews are for Oscar contenders and films that I guess a lot of people who don't follow award season have never heard of. With that being said, a lot of people are probably going to assume that I'm just gonna bash the shit out of this film and that I'm gonna hate it because I couldn't find the deeper meaning. When I was trying to analyze the film while watching it, I couldn't understand the metaphors. I'm not gonna bash Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm not going into this movie assuming that I'm gonna be analyzing things. I'm going into this movie to watch Godzilla and Kong duke it out. Every great now and then, I enjoy a little bit of that somewhat cheesy entertainment. And in this case, it works. And you know why? Because the movie knows exactly what it is and isn't trying to be anything grand. But it provides grand spectacle in the way it does this stuff. Normally, when I do movie reviews, I start with the performances and talking about whether or not they're up to snuff, and talking about how good the acting is overall, and which ones stand out amongst the cast. I'm not going to do that with this film. The performances are good. I would not say they're anything particularly to write home about, but that's not the point. I don't think I'd be fair in saying that about this film, because the central focus of the film is absolutely not the human characters. The human characters are kind of the fluff. The real focus of the film is the battle between Godzilla and Kong, and the amazing special effects and fight scenes. If there is anything absolutely worth praising, whether or not we're talking about a turn-off-your-brain movie or not, we have to say that the special effects in this movie are amazing. These are some of the best special effects in like a MonsterVerse type of movie that I've seen in a very long time. Kong and Godzilla actually look really freaking real. I mean, to an extent. Obviously, there are some cases where it's very obvious that they're not really in the shot, but for the most part, the suspension of disbelief doesn't even really need to be there. It really does look like they're in the shot. And not only that, but the fight scenes are actually really surprisingly well staged. It's not like you're watching a kung fu film where you're seeing amazing choreography, but it definitely does look like what you would expect when you would imagine two giant monsters that aren't just guys in suits duking it out. And that's one thing I really have to praise in this movie. It's just the overall effect that they give to the fight scenes. And honestly, there are some really cool camera angles that they try out with these fight scenes too. There are even instances where they effectively attach cameras to the characters while they're fighting each other. And that was really cool to behold. And not only that, but the locations that they're taken to are pretty amazing. I won't get too far into what those are, but there are some, let's just call them worlds. They're not really worlds, but let's just call them worlds that are really breathtaking pieces of scenery. I generally don't like watching movies where you absolutely have to turn your brain off, or I guess I should say, I don't like to get in a repetitive cycle of movies where you have to turn your brain off. But I also recognize that you have to have that suspension of disbelief. You're not gonna have it 100% accurate 100% of the time, but you shouldn't make your movie completely brain dead either. You're not going into this movie to analyze the deeper meanings, but it's not as dumb as what you would expect when you talk about a movie where you have to turn your brain off. I see this movie as a really good balance. If you go in just wanting to see Godzilla and Kong fight for somewhat disposable and mindless entertainment, you're gonna have a good time. At least I did. And I have to admit, I'm happy that Adam Wingard got to direct this. I mean, honestly, he's a director who I haven't been watching for a very long time, but I am familiar with his other work. He made You're Next, which I thought was an awesome movie. Then he worked on a piece that ended up in VHS 2, which I think is actually a lot better than people give it credit for. And then time goes on and eventually he makes the live-action version of Death Note that I don't think anybody liked, and I didn't even watch because I saw a 30-second clip and I was like, no. Just no. But then he actually gets the opportunity to do this film, and he excels at it. I mean, this is the perfect type of film for him to make. This film is extremely self-aware, and honestly, I like when movies are self-aware and don't take themselves too seriously. If you have a plot like this, and you try to elevate it to something higher, you're taking a huge, huge risk. And you're probably going to come off as pretentious. When you don't do that, you're still taking a huge, huge risk because you know you're going for the mindless entertainment route. But there is a right way to do it. And this film did it. Overall, if you want to see a film where Godzilla and Kong duke it out and you want to see it well done, go ahead and check this out. Don't go in expecting to see the best movie ever made, and don't go in expecting to analyze the deeper meanings of the film, but if you go in with that expectation that I said before, you're probably going to enjoy yourself. And that's all for today. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps people who aren't familiar with my content but would like to see content like this find my channel and helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And if you're new here and you want to see more of what I do, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you're already subscribed but really want to be notified when I post new content instead of just randomly finding it every right now and then, go ahead and hit the bell icon so you can actually be notified when I post a new video. And with that, have a good night, and I'll see you later.